To get started now. If there are any video or audio issues, let us know. But other than that, welcome to Black Friday University. I'm Aubrey Catelco. This is from Bold,
Jason Myers.
Jason Myers. And today we're here with Paul from Pura Vida Bracelets, who's going to talk to us about some lessons learned from last Black Friday. If this is your first time with us, I'll give you a quick rundown. These usually last about half an hour, 45 minutes or so. And I think the best part about them is they're completely interactive. So if you have any questions about what we're talking about or anything Paul says, feel free to throw them in the chat on the right-hand side of your screen, and we'll be sure to take those questions as they come in. So I think we'll get started now. Just as a reminder as well, we're doing these all week. We have one tomorrow, Wednesday as well, and throughout the week. And we'll be talking to a ton of different Shopify experts about their best tips and advice for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. This really is the Super Bowl of the year as far as online sales go. So as long as you're prepared, tune in for some great tips and tricks from the experts. So Jay, why don't you start us off? Tell us a little bit about Pura Vida Bracelets.
Yeah, sure. So I actually had the, the pleasure of going out to Pura Vida headquarters, I guess about a month ago now. They are a client of ours. They use our subscriptions app, so we actually went out there and learned a little bit more about that. They're an amazing company. They're doing awesome things. They have a super cool story about how they got started, and it's so much more than that too. They've gone from kind of from a couple friends with an idea and just really turned it into an amazing, successful online business, and one of probably the most successful businesses on Shopify. So they're a wealth of information. They're super fun guys, and I think everyone watching today is going to get some tidbit of information or some takeaway from this. So we have on the line Paul Goodman. He's one of the co-founders at Pura Vida. So welcome to the show, Paul.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me today.
It's an honor. So why don't we just go ahead and jump right into it, and just maybe the first thing is, can you tell us a little bit about Pura Vida, how you guys started, what is it? There's a really cool story around that.
Yeah, for sure. I started Pura Vida Bracelets around 7 years ago with my business partner. After a surf trip down to Costa Rica, we met two artisans on the beach, and they were hand making bracelets and selling them to tourists as a way to make money for themselves. And they were basically homeless at the time. And me and Griffin approached them and decided we were going to purchase 400 bracelets to bring back to our family and friends as a way of, commemorating our journey, seeing if we could sell these bracelets and provide some income for these guys that were living on the beach. So we brought 400 bracelets back with us, and within 2 weeks we had sold all of them and decided, what if we order 1,000 more and see if we could kind of keep this going. It was just a simple project at the time, and really just a way to help these guys in Costa Rica. So we ordered 1,000 bracelets, and from there, it quickly snowballed into what we have today. Is we support 150 artisans in Costa Rica, El Salvador, India, across the world. We've taken people out of poverty, and we're selling bracelets, jewelry, accessories to help these artisans around the world.
That's amazing. And just so everyone knows, they do a ton for charity too. A lot of their bracelets, actually, if you guys can see, these are Pura Vida bracelets that I am wearing as we speak right here. So they're all different every month. I don't know how the whole design process works, but I know you guys come out with a lot of them. And there's a lot of charity lines too. So a lot of the bracelets will be for a specific cause, and you guys raise a ton of amount for charities, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
If you Google Pura Vida bracelets and celebrities, you'll see pictures of Ellen wearing them. And I'm assuming that's for one of the causes?
Yeah, I mean, to date, we've donated over $1.5 million to over 160 different organizations. So we started the charity collection quickly after we started Pura Vida, basically just as a way to raise awareness for different charities, and have a way for people to have a deeper connection to the brand. So basically they can, support a charity or a cause that's close to their heart, wear a bracelet, and at the same time, we donate a portion of the proceeds back to that organization.
Well, A, I think that's awesome, and B, I think that's actually something that stores can take away, that when you can tie, there's kind of it's the triple the triple threat, right? When you can have profits, product, and the people, and you're actually doing something good in every area. And especially like the millennial generation, which I think is probably a big demographic of your clients, is that means a lot to them. And if there's two products at two different stores, and they know that one store, like I choose to buy, Tom's shoes because I know that they give a pair of shoes away for every pair that you buy, and 10 Tree Clothing, they plant a tree for every piece of clothing you buy and things like that. So I think it's amazing that you do it, and I think it's a smart thing from a business side to do as well too. So I want to jump in. So just Paul, pretty much everyone on live right now is Shopify store owners. So we want to kind of dive in a little bit about how you went from an idea on a beach buying 400 bracelets from some homeless guys or in poverty guys to a massive business. And you make it sound so easy, but I know there was a lot in between there. So I know social media is a big thing for you guys. You guys last year, I think, were the second most influential e-commerce brand on Instagram. Is that correct? That's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
So you're doing a lot of things right. So maybe we could kind of, I know that's a big a struggle or challenge for a lot of store owners, is they have a great product, they have a great niche, but figuring out social is a challenge for all of them. So like maybe we can dive into that a little bit, and hopefully some people will get some good takeaways. So what are you guys doing on social right now? Like which platforms are you guys utilizing for Pura Vida?
Yeah, I mean, we focus mostly on Instagram and Facebook. Um, just we've seen the best ROI on those channels, the easiest to scale in terms of our demographic. Our demographic is, the 13 to 25-year-old female. So we've utilized those channels to help scale. And I think the biggest takeaway from our social media is we want to provide content that's relevant to our demographic. So with our demographic, we've explored, testing out different content, and the content that works best for us is the travel inspired lifestyle, something people can relate to, but also, giving people a feeling of something they want to aspire to be. So whether that's, a travel photo from across the world, or someone wearing our product who looks like an average normal girl who isn't, some unobtainable object. So I think that's a huge beneficial, quality that we've created in our content on social media.
Facebook is really widely used, I think, by a whole bunch of different sizes of businesses, but Instagram is one that's really, really difficult to get right. I mean, I watched Pura Vida's AMA with Shopify Plus last week, and Griffin was talking about how when you're working on social, you're not really selling a product, but you're selling a story or a lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And I think you guys do a really, really good job of that on Instagram in particular, on Facebook and your other channels as well. But Instagram is a place where I think consumers come for stories. They don't go there to be sold, or they don't go there specifically to buy. They go there to kind of learn and to be inspired almost. And you guys do a really good job of that, I think, through Instagram, of creating content that customers are actually interested in seeking out and interested in like proactively looking for.
What would you say is the biggest mistake you see? What would you say is the biggest mistake you see people making on Instagram who have online stores, and they're going at it the wrong way?
I mean, biggest mistake, not using high quality images, not creating content that is really going to resonate with your demographics. So I think a lot of people get carried away about what they want their brand to be, as opposed to what their demographic is asking of the brand. They're kind of, and just using quality content. You need to post something that someone is willing to reshare, and someone looks at it and is like, wow. You want that wow factor, and I think a lot of people don't focus on really putting the time and effort into the quality.
Get those quality pictures. Do you do that in house, or what's your strategy for that?
We utilize like a team of kind of brand curators and influencers that we work with on a daily basis, as well as our fans. The fans are the ones that have the products. Um, so we ask every fan to basically send us photos, and then we source all of our content through our fans and our team of
How do you
influencers.
submit them? Just using a hashtag, or do you guys actually like work one on one with them?
Yeah, ha- hashtags and emails. So we'll go through the hashtags that we get every day, and then basically find photos that we feel are fit our brand or fit the content that we're looking for, and then reach out directly to those fans and ask them to either create more photos in exchange for bracelets or send us photos that they've already
Do you
taken.
find people do that out of the goodness of their like heart because they're passionate about the brand, or do a large portion of them do you have to compensate or run like giveaways or competitions to get them, or how do you get them to do that?
We normally just compensate with free product. Um, so we'll send them product in exchange for photos. So the customer's winning by getting more product, and then we're winning by getting the content that they're creating.
Cool.
Actually, if I could jump in, so we have a question from Serge, just while we're kind of on the topic of Instagram. I'll rephrase this question a little bit here. He was wondering, what are some of the differences in how you guys approach Facebook and Instagram? I mean, obviously both support images. Facebook's obviously a little more text heavy. Could you speak a little bit about how, what your approach is for both and how they differ between Facebook and Instagram?
Yeah, I mean, I think we focus like 90%, 95% on Instagram, really. Instagram for us is a way that we can just better, build that brand story with images, with content. Whereas Facebook, it's no one sees your posts anymore. You have to pay for advertising, which we do. But, as far as the Facebook, our page, it's just basically content that's sourced from our Instagram.
So I was going to ask in terms of, well, actually that was a question I had as well too between Facebook and Instagram. Overall, what would you estimate in terms of traffic, social drives to your store? Like what percentage does that make up?
In terms of
Yeah,
like
like of
organic
the traffic that
or
comes into
paid.
Pure Vita, how big of a role does social media play in it? Like if you had to guess at a percentage, is it like 10% of your traffic, or is it 100%, or where is that?
Oh yeah, I would say 60 to 70%.
And
Yeah,
then where would you say? I think I know the answer, but the remaining is that email is a big chunk of that.
yeah, email and then just word of mouth.
Um, so I had a question here. If a store is kind of just getting started in social, what's kind of like, and let's say they really don't have a strong social game right now, what's kind of an easy win or something they can do to to kind of just get their toes wet or take that first step? And obviously they might not have the whole brand and story and everything that you guys have built up, but what can they kind of just do to start getting their feet wet and going in the right direction in social media?
I would say learn from other brands that are doing it how you want to portray your brand. Look at the accounts who have a million plus followers, who are brands who are posting quality content every single day, and study them and see, what they're doing. And from there, build out what you feel like your, demographic is wanting to see from your brand and the brand story you want to create.
Cool. Is that a question that came in there?
Yeah, so Carlin asks, if you don't get many sales from Instagram, how do you drive most of your sales? So I think that's a really good question. Pura Vida is kind of in a good spot because they've really built up a good brand story, I would say, Jay. And they have kind of the lifestyle and the image that they want to portray to customers, and then customers can go to Instagram to learn more about that image. So I think that a really good step that a ton of brands on Shopify can take, and I mean, it works for a ton of different business models, is you can start trying to create those stories and start trying to create that lifestyle almost for your brand. Find, again, as Paul mentioned, look at who your target demographics are and look at who your target audience is and who you're selling to, and try to make a story that either is something that is easily relatable to them, or something that you think that demographic would want to attain. In Pura Vida's case, their story is very much, I think, just the artisanal, like, down to earth is probably the wrong word to use, but that kind of story that appeals to, as Paul mentioned, kind of that younger female age demographic, and it's something that they'll find interesting and want to engage with constantly. So I would recommend probably, and Jay, if you have anything to add to this, I would recommend that you start trying to look for what that story is, because it really applies not just on Instagram, but on tons of different social channels. It applies on Facebook. You need to try and create a story there. Same on Twitter if you're going to pursue that, or Snapchat or Pinterest. Like, all of these need kind of that personality for your brand to have a good social presence that customers can relate to easily.
Yeah, I think the thing is, if you don't know your story, there's no chance your customers will. And there's no chance they'll get that across. Like, if you don't have a strong sense of what are your values, what's your why, what is the reason someone should be passionate about your brand, then there's like zero chance that that's going to come through in any type of branding. So the stronger sense you have of that, and when you talk to Pura Vida and you're like at their headquarters and you're seeing the brand, like, they have a very strong sense of their like brand. I guarantee you, ask anyone at their company, like, what does Pura Vida mean? What's Pura Vida about? That, like, every single person would be able to answer. Yeah. And if you're even a one-man team, or you're a five-man team, if not every single person has that same sense, it won't come through. So it has to be real, I guess, is the.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, just the definition of that is huge for starting that. I mean, outside of social, just having a presence online, I think you kind of need to have that story defined and almost written out. You need to decide initially, what is the story for your brand, and what is the personality almost for that brand. Just like if you were writing a play and you needed to kind of create a character and set that up, you need to do that for your brand as well, I think. And having that set and having that defined is super important. Now, that doesn't mean it's set in stone. Paul, I'm sure you can speak more to this, but the story for Pura Vida has definitely evolved, I'm sure, over the years, and kind of the lifestyle and the culture that you guys portray. But as a first step, as kind of a newer business, I think definitely starting to define that and starting to figure out who you are, and then letting that mature is really integral to making sure you have a good social presence.
Yeah, I think a story in terms of a brand story is always evolving. You're always going to be changing. You're always going to be improving the story or adjusting the story. So I think you got to be flexible in knowing that as you progress as a business, you're always going to be adjusting that and improving your brand message and changing around your brand story. But I think if you could have that one solid thing you guys stand for, then that's the biggest place to start.
Another question. Do you have you guys experimented, or do you have a strong presence in Facebook groups? I know a lot of stores talk about that's a great way to get in and kind of break into niches, is getting involved in groups or creating a group. Is that something you guys do much of?
We have a Facebook like VIP group. So we have all of our VIP customers, our top customers that are in that group that we invite to be a part of that group. And in that group, we just have, exclusive launches, updates on new products that are coming out. And it's just a way to connect with our best customers on a more personal level than just email.
And just anyone who is a good customer just gets invited, or how do you invite them?
Yeah, like top
Oh, okay.
10%.
So you actually keep it very exclusive. Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. So, like, I was going to ask, like, how is that a way when you talk about engaging your community? Is that that's probably a
Yeah,
great takeaway.
I think yeah, it's a great tool to connect on a more one-on-one basis, but you definitely have to have the bandwidth
To
to
monitor
do
it.
that.
Now, do you guys admin it yourself, or do
Yeah,
you have moderators that volunteer their time?
we have our customer service team in house monitors it and reaches out to customers
Cool. I think
through
we got
that.
a question here just coming in.
Yeah, so Carlin asks, if you're a startup, how long do you typically give yourself to develop a story? So that's a really good question. I think to give kind of a very abstract answer to it, it's I don't think you can give yourself really a set amount of time. It's important to define that story starting out, and decide who your personality is and who you want to be. But um, as we mentioned, as Paul talked about, it's something that's constantly evolving. It's not like I'm going to set aside a week every year to decide what my story is. I think it's you set out a couple days or however much time at the start of your business, and then as you grow and as you kind of learn and mature, your values grow and mature as well, and so you continue evolving that story. The time frame of it is, I think, 24 hours. Your story and your personality of your brand is ingrained in everything you do, and that shows when you express yourself through social media or through your web pages or through your design or through your products. That's all something that continually evolves. We talked about defining it just so that you kind of have a starting off point almost, but it's something that's constantly growing.
I'd be curious your thoughts on that, Paul. How early on did you guys realize that your story was a big part of it?
I mean, from the day we started, when we first bought the bracelets, we put them in our backpacks and we were traveling around to other cities on the bus. And Griff and I were sitting on the bus and we were typing out the feeling that it gave us to help these guys on the beach, what it meant to wear a Pura Vida bracelet. So that was literally within, a couple of days of realizing we wanted to create something. So I think having a solid, concrete story from the beginning before you launch and before you build out your website is crucial. But knowing that initial story you started with can change over time and can evolve and will evolve.
So we have a question from Serge here. I noticed that Pura Vida runs a lot of giveaways on Instagram. Is it a big part of Instagram marketing for you, or does Instagram ads show better results? What minimum audience size would you recommend when you're doing your first giveaway?
We always focused on using people to do giveaways or brands that had a similar following to us. So, say we had 50,000 followers at the time, we would always try and work with someone who had around 50,000, a little above, a little below followers. Just because if you are, just starting out, you have 10,000 followers and you try and contact someone who has a million followers, they're likely not going to work with you to do a giveaway because you really don't have anything to offer them as opposed to someone that's at the same size as you. So just kind of like always working up and working up and working with people along your same level.
Explain this a little bit more so for people to understand. So it's not just that you're running the giveaways on your Instagram. You're leveraging other other users on Instagram who have large followers, kind of partnering with them, and then they run the giveaway.
Yeah, exactly. So teaming up with a brand or an influencer who has a similar, whether style or similar product offering that they can, stoke out their fans as well as, get our fans excited. So basically both of us would be running the giveaway in tandem, and the giveaway you would have to follow them and follow us. So we can gain followers from the brand we're doing a giveaway with, and they can gain followers from
That's
us.
a really good strategy. And I think that, so how do you find these people? Like if someone's in a certain niche right now, let's say they're selling, some custom made coffee. You just through hashtags or just through community or
Yeah, hashtags, searching on Instagram, looking at what other brands are doing. Just kind of, we have a team in here that's constantly just digging for new content, searching like hashtags. So for us, search the travel or beach hashtag or give back, and see what other people are posting and what other brands are out there, and then contacting them through direct message, email, phone.
I think we just had another question come in here.
Yeah. So, which method do you recommend for showing Instagram users where they can buy your product, assuming you don't have a shoppable Instagram yet? So, example, do you put the website in the caption or show it in comments, or would you recommend softer approaches? And I think what Hope means by a softer approach is just adding in the comments, check out our website or find our Facebook page. So not a direct link, but encouraging customers just to kind of, I don't know, do their own search to find your brand.
We usually just put in the caption, we put link in bio, and then we'll change the link in our bio to that specific collection or page or product that we're promoting. And then with that link, we always make it a bit.ly, which is just a shortened URL that is able to track the amount of clicks. So then we could track how many people are actually clicking that link.
If just for some of our viewers, if you haven't used Bitly yet, I'm sure you've seen a Bitly link or a shortened link before, but these are super good for marketers because they allow you to see how many users have clicked on a particular link. So in somewhere like Instagram, where Facebook will give you the number of people who have clicked on a certain button on your page or have clicked on an image or viewed a video or something like that. But those features aren't available on Instagram quite yet, and so Bitly is really useful because you can create a bit link and a shortened link, and it will give you analytics for that link. So how many people clicked on it, how many times they clicked. I think they have some advanced features. You can see where they're clicking from, things like that. So there's a ton of good features there, and it's free up to some ridiculous number, like 100,000 or something links you can make. So yeah, it's a really, really good service, particularly for Instagram, where they don't have a ton of those tracking features yet. You can use BitLinks to help see and measure the return that you're getting from your social channels.
It's a great way to wrap in a whole bunch of campaign parameters that would make a big, ugly, long link into a nice short link as well too. Okay, we got a whole bunch of questions coming in here.
Yeah, you're a popular guy here, Paul. So I'll start off with Ashley. If you didn't have the philanthropic angle, do you think you would still be as successful?
I think the philanthropic angle just adds another dimension to our brand, and I believe that it has attributed to some of our success. It just provides a deeper meaning when people are buying a product. It's not just a product; it's something that they're buying as well as being able to give back. But at the same time, if you are just starting, I think a philanthropic angle needs to be organic and it can't seem forced. You see a lot of companies just doing it just to have it, and I think customers see right through that. I think you have to have something that you truly care about and truly want to donate back to, or a product that is able to allow that, as opposed to just creating something and slapping on a philanthropic angle just to try and bring in sales, because that's gonna turn off the customer even more.
Throwing on your cart, we'll donate a portion of every sale to a charity, probably is not going to increase. It might make people feel good about the purchase, but it's not going to create, I look at Tom's shoes as a great example. They're kind of plain looking shoes, but people are passionate about them. And it's because literally every single pair you buy, another pair gets donated.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it has to be done right, though, I think is the key.
Yeah, I think what Tom's does right and what Pura Vida does very well as well is, as opposed to, so if I go to the grocery store and they ask me right when I get to the checkout, hey, do you want to donate $1 to whichever charity, right? That doesn't influence me all that much. That charity obviously isn't it's not ingrained in the store's brand story or their personality or their lifestyle like we were talking about earlier. Where Pura Vida and Tom's do really well is every product, that's part of the story of the product, is that it's directly helping somebody else. You can't buy the product without also giving that help, and so that's as much of a selling feature as the bracelet looks cool or the shoes feel nice on my feet. it's just part of what you're buying along with the product, as opposed to just, oh, this got tacked on by the store because they wanted a tax write-off or something. So
You need to do every loaf of bread you buy, a loaf of bread gets donated.
there you go.
There you go.
Problem solved. We're solving the world's problems one loaf of bread at a time.
You want to jump to the next one here? There's a few.
Yeah. Next question is from Laura. When do you know that you need to that you need to invest in redesign for your website? Which percentage approximately of your revenues do you invest in your website graphic design and programming? So you could feel free to leave out specifics there, but that's a good question, I think. When do you know, or what are some points that you guys looked for when you're looking for redesigns or for tweaks for the Pura Vida store?
Yeah, I think we're constantly making tweaks and updates and changes. So I would say it's not one big overhaul necessarily. We've done three big overhauls kind of in the past 7 years, but it's constantly tweaking it on a daily basis. We kind of hired our first designer when Griffin, my business partner, was doing the design, and he simply just didn't have enough time anymore in the day to do enough design. That's when we brought on our first designer. And then from there, we just hired on more and more designers as needed. When our first designer got too busy and we couldn't produce enough, then that's when we hired on a second help. So I think it's a constant work in progress. And I wouldn't say that there's, one specific time in place when you're simply just going to change everything.
Just to the person asking that, I know kind of the industry norm is they say every 24 to 36 months is when you should refresh your site. So that might not necessarily mean a complete overhaul. Maybe it's just kind of changing up something with your theme, or obviously keeping your brand strong. But that's an industry average, is every 24 to 36 months. So
yeah, but that's in addition to small tweaks, as Paul was saying.
For
So they're constantly looking at their design and optimizing. But I think, to Jay's point, it's definitely good to look at, every 2 or 3 years. Is there kind of a larger design change that I can make, or a total refresh or something like that? Next question is from Ashley. How often are you guys emailing your list, and what are you sending to them? It's a bit of a broad question, but I'll let you answer it any way that works for you.
Sorry,
Yeah,
could you repeat that real quick?
How often are you emailing your list, and what are you sending to them?
Yeah, we have emails every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday to our entire list. Those are brand updates, product launches, sales, blogs. Basically, we have a whole different, slew of touch points that we have, and then we also have new customer series. So when a customer first makes the purchase, they're getting different emails than someone who hasn't made purchases. They're getting, more personalized emails, as opposed to someone who hasn't made a purchase are getting more generalized emails about our brand, possibly discounts to incentivize them to make their first purchase. Whereas a customer is getting emails incentivizing them to come back, or new product launches, etc.
Do anything for re-engagement
But
in emails with, I know there's tools like Klaviyo and Rare and different things where they'll, if the average person buys from you every 3 months, let's say, 3 months after a purchase, an email goes out with a 20% coupon code or something like that to kind of stimulate re-engagement.
yeah, exactly. So we have that. It's a 7-part email series after they make a purchase.
Yeah, and the great part about a lot of those is that, you guys obviously have a team. I think Griffin said you guys have an agency that's doing that work for you, but there are a lot of free tools as well. A lot of the merchants and the viewers that we have are maybe just getting started, but there's a ton of free tools out there that can do a large portion of that for you. So they can automate things like onboarding series and re-engagement emails and all that good stuff, so that you can spend more time focusing on other things. So there's a ton of great tools out there, and we're definitely looking or recommend looking. There's MailChimp, Klaviyo, Rare, tons of great services out there. So I'll just check for questions here. It looks like we have the last one. So this is our Black Friday University series. So I guess kind of we'll move into discussing maybe some more Black Friday related topics. So what do you guys have, without spoiling it for us, what do you guys have planned for Black Friday this year, kind of from a marketing side? Do you have a big email campaign going out, ton of push on social, any, major offers or special hints you can share with us?
Yeah, I mean, Black Friday every year is our biggest day, our biggest week of sales, with Black Friday and Cyber Monday kind of lumping into one of the year. So we have emails going out multiple times per day, social campaigns being ramped up, our paid advertising being ramped up. I mean, it's a big undertaking for us. Um, and yeah, we have an insane deal. I don't want to give it away, but yeah, we have a pretty insane deal that we offer every year.
Awesome. So could you, again, without spoiling anything, but could you speak a little more, in past years, how do you guys promote your Black Friday deals, particularly through social channels? Most of your content is obviously geared around kind of telling more of a story and being a little less salesy. How do you balance that with what you're doing on social through the rest of the year? I mean, obviously, we want to tell customers about the Black Friday promotions and sales and offers that you guys have going on. How do you do that while still kind of maintaining that storytelling aspect on Instagram?
Yeah, I think Black Friday and Cyber Monday is actually the one time of the year when we feel as though we can be a bit more salesy. People are expecting it. People want to see the deals. People want to shop for the holidays. So we like to mix in both branded images where we'll put the details of the sale in the caption, as well as banner type images where the details of the sale are in the actual image, and post them on our social. So instead of just kind of spamming people with banner after banner after banner of the sale, we kind of mix in the creative photos as well as a couple banner images with details of the sale.
Cool. And I think that that probably works really well for you guys because you kind of build out capital almost with customers throughout the year, right? Like if they're engaging with your story, and you guys haven't been, as I mentioned, extremely salesy or pushy, then uh, they'll I think be more receptive to it, during specific times of the year. Like obviously Black Friday is a very big shopping holiday, so I like that you guys are able to integrate both more of the promotional side, but keep kind of to your roots with the storytelling going on Instagram as well. Sorry, did you have something to add there, Jay?
No, no, that's
Yeah.
good.
No.
I was gonna say we're getting close on time, so I don't know, for the viewers online, we can maybe sneak in one more question, and then I have one question I want to end on. Is there any in the queue there?
Yeah, for sure. Well, Jay, why don't you start with your question, and then to our viewers, just because we're only going to take a couple more, if you see any in the ask a question box at the bottom of the screen, go ahead and vote up the ones that you want to see us ask before we end off here, and we'll ask those in a couple minutes.
The most popular one.
Most popular one.
Yeah. Paul, I wanted to ask you if so you've been in e-commerce now for a while. If you could go back 5 years and basically give yourself some advice. So before you guys really started to kind of take off, you were struggling, and I know you went through, like most online store owners, you had your hard times and you stuck through it. What advice would you give yourself 5 years ago? And is there any advice you just want to, in a broad way, give to store owners today?
I think advice is try not to get sold on new technologies and new platforms. We ran through basically all of these different media vendors and media buyers and people who almost promise you the world, and you think it's great. You sign up, and then 3 months into it, you realize it's not what they said. So I think put it back on the vendor and test the vendor and ask them for a trial. If they're confident in their service, then they should be willing to let you try it first. And if they're not, then they probably won't let you do that. So, we got sold a lot of the times, and we're just young and thought everyone was willing to help us, But I think at the end of the day, most people are just kind of in it for their own business. So I think just be cautious when you're trying to change your technologies, or people are trying to sell you on different platforms.
Too much in the tools and focus on what you're actually
Yeah,
doing.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, so as promised, we'll take one more question here. This question is from Andrew. Do you use a specific app or software to keep in contact and keep track of your influencers? Or do you just communicate with them through email individually on kind of a case-by-case basis?
Yeah, we just use Excel and email.
Is the perfect answer in relation to your previous one. You didn't get sold a big fancy CRM for managing all your influencers.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we keep it basic. We use our simple Excel, Google Sheets, everyone works off of, and email.
Well, thanks a bunch for joining us, Paul. We really appreciate your time. I know our merchants and our viewers that are live right now have, I'm sure, taken a ton of great stuff out from this talk. This is Black Friday University. I'm Aubrey Catelco, and I have Jay Myers here with me. We're going to be here for most of the week talking with experts about what makes a stellar Black Friday, Cyber Monday, kind of come together. So we talked about a whole bunch of social media stuff today. We're going to be going over great sale ideas you can run, how to run some of those sales. We're going to talk about keeping loyal customers after Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So be sure to tune in. You should get an email in a couple hours with a schedule for the rest of the week. Be sure to tune in live. Keep asking questions. Interact with us live. All leading up to Black Friday. We have a big clock on our wall in kind of a doomsday clock. I think it's 10 days away now until the big day, and you definitely want to be ready before that 10 days hits so you can make the most out of the weekend. So, Jay, stellar job today, and we'll talk
Paul,
to you
we're
soon.
fist bumping you through the air.
Yeah, we're fist bumping you through the camera there. Be sure to tune in again to Black Friday University for the rest of the week. Thanks for tuning in. This is Aubrey from Bold with Jay and Dan behind the scenes, and Paul from Pura Vida Bracelets.